Hi, and welcome to All Things Cozy with Matt.
And Gillian.
We are a bi weekly podcast about everything that is warm, soft, and comforting. This week, we're lighting the candles on some cozy birthday memories, ideas, and traditions, which is fateful timing as this episode releases on Gillian's actual birthday. Happy birthday, Gillian!
Thank you. And I also want to clarify, and I will again later in the episode, I did not force Matt to do an episode for my birthday. It's just perfect timing.
This is all my doing. When I saw that we'd have any episode that would release on your birthday, or even if it was my birthday, I might have suggested this. We've been talking about doing an episode on birthdays and how they're cozy or how we keep them cozy. And the fact that we finally had one fall on our birthday, it was only right to finally address this really important topic.
And I think it's makes this Sunday a lot more cozier because Sunday birthdays tend to not be that cozy, at least for me, because you have to go to work the next day. Sunday scaries. But now that this episode is releasing on my birthday, it adds a little pep in my step.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a deluge of birthday messages coming your way.
I'll look forward to that.
But hold on, Julian. Before you open up your gifts and cut your cake, let's catch up with a little tea time chat. That's right, it's tea time. Jillian, what's in your cup today?
I thought I would be on the nose and get a cake flavored tea, and it's from the Republic of Tea's Cup of Cake series, and the flavor is caramel vanilla. And I got it for 14.75, 36 bags. And the flavor describes it as like the old fashioned Southern yellow cake with homemade caramel vanilla frosting, our smooth premium black tea blend is a favorite. This guilt free treat is wonderful either served hot with a splash of milk or cooled over a tall glass of ice. And I have to say, smells amazing. It smells like a bakery up in here. I love it. The aftertaste is wonderful. It's not like that taste from that mac and cheese pasta salad I mentioned the other episode where I want it to be a one-way trip taste. I'm happy that this is a round trip taste. It's a wonderful cakey aftertaste. It smells like a confetti cake candle. It's really wonderful. However, the taste just tastes like water, which is really disappointing. And I steeped it for longer than the direction specified. It said 3 to 5 minutes. I did about maybe like 7 to 8, and it just feels like I'm drinking candle water. So I have to give that a tea bag down.
We aren't teabagging down on anything.
Oh no. I know I'm really being raunchy this season.
Yeah, something tasting like wet candles, that's birthday adjacent. It's the candle to your cake, if you will.
Oh
But it
yeah.
sounds like it's giving you at least an aromatic experience. That sounds nice.
Yeah, and I had a little anxiety about even preparing it because it came in the mail with
That's an important thing
black
about tea, is
dust
that it
all
should
over it.
cause anxiety. The idea of brewing it should make you anxious. That's an important thing about tea.
Remember when I ordered the candy eyes, those little candy eyes for some
We all
cupcakes?
know candy eyes. Famously, Jillian ordered candy eyes for like a baking thing we were
Mhm.
doing, and they arrived moldy from Amazon.
And even though every single review said that, I thought it's not going to be me. This one, it came all this black dust.
What crypt are you ordering your Amazon products from?
But I just dusted it off and thought, okay, I'm just going to take a leap of faith. I have a little anxiety. I don't know. I might drop dead after this. Happy birthday to me.
More people tend to die on their birthdays, statistically.
Yeah, I don't want to put that into the universe, but I guess I just did. So I'll switch topics and say, catch up with what I'm doing this week. This is obviously in the past. So I am moving to a new home, which I'm excited about. And it's really cozy in the sense of taking up your things and you're going through old boxes and putting away your old books into whatever moving boxes you have. You find old things that you might have forgotten about. And it's really sweet to have a renaissance with the things that you own, and it sparks memories, and that's really nice. And also having those rose-colored glasses over your neighborhood and seeing things from a new perspective before you leave it, that's been really cozy for me amid the stress because it is stressful, but that keeps me anchored and in a cozy mindset.
Moving really makes you appreciate where you are and where you've been, and it's exciting to get to go to a new place, but it's also, yeah, bittersweet. You're saying goodbye to a chapter of your life.
Yeah, I know I'll make new memories and everything will be great, and I'm moving 20 minutes away. And you know that 20 minutes is very far for me.
Well, I'm heartbroken because Jillian lives relatively close to where I live in Los Angeles, and so it's always been so easy for us to get to each other, and now she's making it a 30-minute drive.
Yeah, might as well sleep over. That was an excuse to have you over and stay longer. But yeah, I'm excited to host people. That's be fun. I have more space, so looking forward to all of that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the new digs, and I'm sure our listeners are gonna be really excited to see how you make it cozy.
Yep. What are you sipping, Matt?
I'm sipping on elderberry lemon balm immune and stress tea. It's an herbal tea from Yogi, the brand Yogi. And this is a tea to up your immune and stress relief levels, not up your stress level. We don't need that. So it has like an herb called, I'm not familiar with this, but it's called ashwagandha, and it's for adaptogenic support or adaptogens. I've never heard of any of these things before. I don't know how valid they are. No idea. But I am feeling relaxed. I'll say that. It has a nice blueberry flavor to it, I want to say. Very easy to drink. I like it. It's good.
Well, adaptogens are the sexy ingredient of the year.
Are they really? Are they everywhere now?
Yeah, they're in a lot of non-alcoholic drinks. So like, oh, those will give you the relaxation if you had a real
Mm.
beer, that kind of thing.
I was looking it up a little bit because I'm always hesitant, even though we have a small but mighty community, I don't want to lead anyone astray with some weird go out and buy your adaptogens when it's total snake oil or whatever. But I was looking it up and it almost sounds like if you are on a medication, if you're pregnant, definitely don't take them. And it can also cause diarrhea and
That's
other
I
issues.
don't like
So
potty talk.
watch this space. I'll keep you all updated if there's another
No,
issue
please
that happens down
don't.
the road because of this yogi tea. But it's supposed to make me feel not stressed. So I don't feel stressed, but I never feel stressed talking to you, Julian. So that's
Oh,
not really
that's really
surprising.
sweet. This is a very dark review. I might be poisoned. You might be pooping like what a cozy tea time, but what have you been doing this week? Let's go off the poop.
What haven't I been doing this week? One thing that stands out is I did go see Alien Romulus with friends at the theater.
Ooh,
It was very suspenseful.
that's scary.
It's an homage to every Alien movie that came before it. I was obsessed with the Alien franchise as a kid. I had all the toys. I don't know why we had toys for an adult horror movie that were targeted to children. My favorite Alien toy was the one that you pushed a button and, like, the torso exploded.
That's awesome. They need to go back to that.
It was a total feat of toy design. So, I enjoyed it as an Alien fan, and it was very suspenseful, great special effects. They keep doing this thing where they put a deceased celebrity's face on something, and then that's like they're back again. I would rather we just stop doing that. It's always uncanny. I've never really seen much of a situation where it felt like it totally worked or that I wasn't aware while I was watching it that was a special effect, if that makes sense.
So you mean on the poster teasing people to come see it?
No, it's a character from the original Alien that is back in the movie. That actor has passed away, but they are back in the movie
Oh.
due to movie magic with AI or whatever kind of CGI mapping they do with the visuals of that person's face. I don't wanna spoil anything
We
in
should
the
do the
movie, but
Robert Stack thing they did for the Unsolved Mysteries reboot. They had an outline of him. It was a cool little homage.
my thing is why are we so afraid to recast? I just don't understand it. Like, it's a character, it can be played by multiple actors. We've had, like, what, a billion Batmans? And we can
Mhm.
all get comfortable with having a new Batman every year. I think it's okay if a character gets recast because it's decades later and the original actor is no longer with us, they're retired, or whatever the issue is. This tea is supposed to be relaxing me, and it is keying
Getting
me
you
up instead.
hyped.
I have all these Hollywood rants going on.
Maybe it's an adaptogen that gets you fired up.
I have the opposite relationship to everyone else with ashwagandha.
Well, my last question is the alien like the son of the original alien?
I love that idea, Julian. That is such a cute question. In a way, but no.
Or daughter. Anyway,
Or
I probably won't see it. Seems too
have you
disturbing.
have you seen any Alien movies?
I might have when I was younger and blocked it out, but I saw the preview in the theater and I was like, "Oh man, this is just not for me right now."
Yeah. Yeah, it's not particularly cozy, so I probably shouldn't be talking so much about it on our cozy podcast. So I digress. That's been our tea time. We checked in on some stuff we've been doing. We are sipping our tea, but let's dive into our main topic on your birthday.
Before we get into the coziness of birthdays, if you skipped over our tea time, I would also like to note once again that I didn't threaten to pour a hot kettle of tea on Matt if he refused to dedicate an entire episode to my birthday. The timing is simply too perfect not to take advantage. I'm not the emperor of all things cozy over here, Kim Jong Jill. Although I love to celebrate another trip around the sun, it's also important to acknowledge that birthdays aren't a slice of cake for everyone. And if you're in that camp, this episode is for you too. That's because what's special about birthdays, if you can try to envision it, is that they just belong to you and you alone, unless you have a twin, of course. So that means you get to write the rules and plan the coziest day ever, whether it's spending the day alone with a book or hitting Las Vegas like I did last year, because I can't resist air conditioned tombs in the desert and losing my money on electronic roulette. No matter what camp you're in, though, we hope our discussion on birthday traditions, memories, and tips makes your day even brighter. So let's get into it before these 35 candles melt down. Kicking it off, Matt, what makes birthdays cozy to you?
I feel like every time we talk about how is something cozy to you, Matt, I'm always like, childhood. Sorry to keep beating that drum, but I do think that for many people who grow up in the United States, birthdays are particularly emphasized in childhood. So I think there's a sense of nostalgia to them as a thing that you've been celebrating, that there are photos of you doing. And even before you can remember,
Mhm.
you've been celebrating birthdays, right? And then that changes because I remember as a child, I was so excited to reach those milestones, get to my birthdays, and not every child's like that. I have nieces and nephews who completely run away from their birthdays and don't want any attention. I would say I was in the middle of the road. I didn't need so much attention, but I definitely needed it to be acknowledged. I was not
Of
going to be
course.
okay with it being ignored. But as we age, feelings towards birthdays can shift from something you look forward to something that you dread. But I think it's also nice at any age to feel the love and care, even if the attention can be overwhelming at times.
Yeah, and I can definitely relate to it being overwhelming and very exciting all at once as a kid. I remember crying when the cake got lit up with all the candles, and I just felt so overwhelmed by all the candles and everyone staring at me, and it's just very anxiety inducing. But then I also remember all those great memories, and now how they say core memories, I feel like I see that on everywhere, building core memories.
The inside out effect.
I think that the birthdays are those core memories, and we don't have a lot of life experience to compare it to when we're young, so that's probably the highest peak of
Yeah.
our feelings and emotions, and it's really, I think, where you just develop a concept of self and ritual, and it's all those things wrapped up in it. But I also can understand how some kids' birthdays might not have been a great experience for many different reasons, so I also think that really plays into it, how your birthdays were celebrated when you were young and all the things. For me, it's starting fresh. I see birthdays as a new year. So instead of 2024, I'm starting fresh. I'm turning 35. And what does this year hold? I also allow myself to be totally selfish and indulgent, and I think a lot of cozy folks can relate. Sometimes those traits are hard to lean into, and I think cozy people are more givers than they are receivers, so it's nice to just be a little brat, not extend my bratness on anyone else, but by
It's a
being a
brat summer, so it's okay.
yeah, but ordering myself takeout maybe 3 times. I don't know, I don't ever done that, but
Buying yourself crypt tea that has
yeah.
black dust all over
Yeah,
it.
poisoning
Just going
myself with
wild.
a cup of tea, cake, whatever it is. And just allowing myself to really treat myself, and that's just always something to look forward to, it makes you feel really cozy.
The opportunity to really just take a moment and do something that you know you'll enjoy and that you don't have to justify or answer to anybody. I enjoy that part about birthdays too, where who is setting the program, there's no mistaking it. I'm not the kind of person who makes their birthday like a week event. I just do the day, or maybe depending on when it falls, it could be like a weekend day before or after that I choose to really be about those sorts of indulgences, let's say. But I do think it's so nice to get to go do that favorite things. Oftentimes, it could be maybe like a restaurant that is a little bit of an expense or an indulgence, but because you are celebrating your birthday, you allow yourself to enjoy a meal out. Obviously, this all depends on any individual's unique circumstances. You know, it can even just look like taking the time out to read a book that you enjoy, have a quiet moment, any of that stuff.
Yeah, and that goes into my next question, which is what your philosophy is on birthdays, and you touched on that where in your world, at least, it's not a week celebration, you're not doing the month of Matt.
No.
So, do you really prioritize other folks' birthdays more so than your own? What's your take on it as an adult?
I feel like these days I forget everyone else's birthday and my own practically.
It's hard to keep up.
I do prefer them for other people than for myself these days. I've always felt uncomfortable with the attention, although I do feel the love and care when that comes at me. It is so appreciated, but at the same time, there's like a feeling of, I'm sure people can relate to this, of, "Oh, don't bother over me, don't do that," feeling overwhelmed by it too. And so I definitely don't need them to be big affairs. I tend to keep them very simple, either a dinner or a weekend getaway if it's in the cards, just with my husband, somewhere local. If I am going to make a bigger deal, like invite more people to my birthday or really try to like ring in the occasion, my philosophy is that happens on birthdays that end in 0 or 5. So, Jillian, you should be making a much bigger deal out of this, I would say, than you are. And then the other ones between those are just very much like, yeah, but it's my birthday, moving on. Really take more effort on the zeros and fives.
Yeah, I think keeping it simple can be really cozy. Not only because it takes the stress off your plate of trying to plan something or even perhaps being disappointed, which I think is a common theme on
Hmm.
birthdays. And I think we've talked about this too with New Year's. There's such a high emphasis on having fun
Yeah.
and doing something. It's very similar. I think it's interesting though, as an adult, especially not having kids and thinking about how I celebrate my parents' birthdays. I think a lot of folks without kids tend to get overlooked. I'm not saying for myself, I have a nice network, but I'm thinking about older people who don't. Like, there's a lot of older people in my life, like my partner's aunt, who's always doing everything for everyone else. And it's a big family, so you can only imagine the number of birthdays, engagements, weddings, all the things, christening. I'm like, what can we do for her? Because I know that she's someone who wants to celebrate it. It's not like she would feel overwhelmed or embarrassed. I know that's something she would want and prefer, but everyone's so busy with their own things, or they already have their birthday preparations on lock because they have a built-in core
Yeah.
group. And her dream is to go to Caesar's Palace. I said, "We have to make this happen. Hell or high water, we're getting her to the" is that the Greek too? Is the Caesar's Palace the Greek?
No, the Greek is a theater in LA.
Well, no, that like that oh, that's the movie Get Him to the Greek? I thought
Yeah, that's the Greek concert venue that's in.
stop it, Matt. I thought it was Get Him to the Greek in Las Vegas, okay.
So Caesar was a Roman emperor.
That's
So there's really no Greek connection at all.
I'm dying, okay. Anyway, so I'm not gonna bring her to the music venue in Los Angeles, she'd be sorely disappointed. I will get her to Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, hell or high water.
At the very least, you could go out for lunch at Little Caesars.
I guess all I'm saying is just don't forget the people in your life who might not always be thought of, and just try and surprise them or treat them in small ways or big. Because every year is a special one in my book. It's, of course, a reminder that time is dwindling, but it's also a reminder that you made it. And so I like to celebrate their folks when I can and try and be
Yeah.
more cognizant of mine too.
I'm also very grateful sometimes for individuals who do make a big deal out of their birthdays and they do get a whole party going, or they have lots of people over to their house, or they really make sure to mark the occasion every year. Because of them, I get to see my friend group more often and I get to like stay connected with people. And if that wasn't happening, I can think of a few people off the top of my head that their birthday parties annually are like how I stay in touch with like several people.
That's a good point.
They're also doing us a favor insofar as keeping us connected and making sure that it's not just, "Hey, everyone celebrate me," but also, let's celebrate our friendship. I know in some cultures too, the person whose birthday it is the one who treats. They are the one who will
Mm,
pay for dinner, or if it's a destination thing, they'll take care of it for everyone else. And I love that. I wish honestly that were more the case in the US. Actually, here's one attitude I have about birthdays is I need the birthday dinner where you have friends come to your birthday dinner. I need that banned. Every birthday dinner I've been to, especially when I was in my 20s, was just a nightmare of who's going to pay the bill, how do you divvy it up? Even if you're having a nice conversation, you're watching the whole time, like, how many drinks is that person ordering? And now I have to split this evenly.
right.
If you're at all strapped for cash or a money conscious person, it's very stressful to be in that situation. And in general, just like irritating to have to figure out a bill at the end of the night. The birthday celebrant is like, yep, you're buying my meal, but you made us do this.
Yes, I agree with you, especially in my 20s when it really was down to counting the dollars. It'd be super stressful and I'd be like eyeing people do. But I think take the stress off the birthday person. I love the idea of the birthday person taking care of it too if they want to. I love that other perspective. But I also think the friends need to get together beforehand. Talk to the waiter and say, "How many cards will you take?" Or I'm gonna put my card down and everyone Venmos me and we're not leaving this table until you Venmo me. That'd be a
No, it's
little.
so much easier now. Honestly, this conversation probably is just like a decade too late because services like Zelle or Venmo have like
Oh,
totally
right.
changed the
Yeah, oh
game
my
on
god,
that.
I forgot
Whereas we
now.
were literally circling items. Okay, my credit card
Oh,
goes to those
I
things. And
remember. Yeah, you're right.
but let's move on because honestly, what I'm complaining about doesn't even exist as a problem anymore. But
Back in the
I just feel
olden
like
days.
exactly. I just feel like I'm showing how many birthdays I've had. But in preparing for this episode, it made me think about how birthdays are celebrated around the world and even like the milestones of different ages. I think those are really interesting tweaks to what we're used to as Americans. Even thinking about the fact that the happy birthday song is a little over 100 years old. A lot of these traditions that we feel like are so locked in are pretty recent. We can still mold and change how we celebrate birthdays.
Yeah, and it's also fun to see how even other families celebrate birthdays, and I think my partner, their family reads out each card aloud, and they take a photo with the card. I think it's really sweet. Takes a long time to get through,
Yeah.
and there have been times I'm like, "Really? We're gonna read it out? Says the same thing?" But I think it's really sweet that they take the time to value each person's words and have a memory. They can always say like, "Oh, what did so and so get me? A card from that year?" And they can go back in the photo album and see it. So, I think it's really sweet.
It should say in the card who it's from, but I get that.
Right. Just for evidence.
Yeah.
So, let's unwrap the coziest gift that we've ever received, or it could also be a cozy gift that you would like to get or even give someone else.
I had the hardest time with this question. I was really racking my brain for birthday gifts that I've received. I selfishly interpreted this question as what I got. And it was a reminder that I actually don't remember very much what I receive. I remember the people that I hung out with. I remember, like, if it was a destination, those sorts of things. But I don't remember the stuff as much. And I was very happy to come to that realization. It's gonna actually inform how I approach future birthday gifts and what I do for my own birthday because really reflecting on that, I was like, yeah, I'm struggling to think of gifts that I got. But I will say one recent birthday gift that I got from my husband was he took me out for an afternoon at a cat cafe. You know, I'm catless, I need my cat fix, and he made it happen that day. And it was a really cozy experience. It was a nice way to spend an afternoon.
Well, that really resonates with me because I also had a horrific time, not horrific, a hard time trying to go back and think about the presents that I got and I really loved and thought were the coziest. I think that your experience at the cat cafe is really wonderful because it's a memory that you can relive. You don't have to, shuffle through your items and pull it
Mhm.
out. Like it's something that, it's a sweet memory that lives with you. And it's very relaxing, the whole cat cafe concept. I also went to a friend's birthday at a cat cafe, and it's wonderful because you also get to support the cats and, their care and whatnot, and raise awareness for adoption. So I love that idea. It's really wonderful.
It was also very selfless of him because he's allergic to cats.
Mm.
So it was really just for me. He was a trooper. He got through it.
And that's sometimes we have to do for birthdays. You have to sacrifice and do the thing. Like when I was a ride along for my partner's shark excursion, and I was horrifically sick on the boat, and I was literally looking off into the horizon, sweating, just wondering when it would be over. But it truly made my heart melt to see how excited my partner was and showing me the
Mhm.
photos from the dive. So it made it worth it. But for me, like I said, had trouble thinking of a gift. I texted my mom and she said, "What about Mother Goose?" I was like, "Mother Goose? What do a Mother Goose who reads the stories, I think is very popular back in the day. She has a bonnet on."
Oh, is she actually like an item that you could buy like Mother Goose? Would you put like a cassette tape in her or how would that work?
Yeah, I think it was. I think maybe it was like in her stomach or in her butt or something, but it would, yeah, read
Oh,
the
okay.
stories.
The nursery rhymes,
Yeah,
yeah.
the nursery rhymes. But I was thinking back on it, and my best gift was the gift of Tad, my frog. And I got that kit from a friend, which I think I mentioned before, which is probably an inappropriate gift to give a child because you didn't ask the parents or consent to
Yeah.
that. But you probably thought, "Oh, it's a Grow a Frog kit. It won't nothing will happen with this."
It turned you into Frog Girl, is what it did.
Oh, yeah, my lovely middle school moniker from a teacher. Wonderful. But yeah, it really sparked my love of frogs, and that was a wonderful gift. So sometimes those happy accidents where you're like, "Oh, I don't know if this is a good idea." It turns into something that was really sweet. So,
I got a guinea pig in much the same way. Those, like, starter pets, let's say, they can be so formative, and it can really help young people learn how to, like, care for something else and be responsible, and
right.
also just learn to appreciate animals.
Yeah, that's well said. So, going back in time to our childhood, which we've spent a lot of time in so far, what was your coziest birthday party as a kid?
The most exciting and coziest and just the best time ever were the sleepovers. Now, I was always mortified that I would wet my sleeping bag because
Oh,
I was a bedwetter
I didn't know
for
that.
way too long. Now everyone knows about it. There needs to be awareness and advocacy for young people who go through that problem. It never happened because I was so nervous about it. I really did not drink any water when I was at these
Oh.
things. I controlled myself diligently so that wouldn't happen at a friend's house. But I'm making it sound so, like, stressful. You get to spend, like, all night having dinner with your friends and playing video games and just hanging out, and that's where those friendships were really forged. Without those sleepovers, I would not have been as close with my friends as I was. I remember one sleepover at a friend's house because you stay up too late and the parents come down, they're like, "You all go to bed now, lights out," and they had said that already, and we were still, like, up watching, I don't know, Ernest Goes to Jail or whatever, and we hear one of the parents come down the steps, and everyone else, with the quickest of reflexes, goes down into their sleeping bag pretending that they were asleep, and I'm just standing there,
Oh,
like,
no.
staring at the dad, like, "Hi," and he's like, "To me," because I'm the only one standing.
Oh, I thought you were the rebel rouser.
Imagine going down and everyone else is sleeping, and then there's just this one kid just standing.
Like, let's not have this kid over again.
I think he figured out that I was just the slowest one,
So
but
sweet and on brand.
serial killer vibes for sure from that.
Creepiness aside, I think it says a lot about you because you weren't well versed in naughtiness. Like,
No.
they already had it on lock. They knew their routine. They got down like soldiers, but you
Yeah.
not being used to that, kind of behavior, I don't know.
I just froze.
I would love that's a story that the dad tells. "Hey, remember when you had that sleepover?"
Oh, no, he brought it up the next morning for sure. What was your coziest childhood birthday party, Julian?
I loved a plaster fun craft experience, and I don't know if that's specific to Long Island, so it's similar to Color Me Mine, where you have those pre-made art pieces, plaster pieces, whether it's a little
Oh, we
dog.
we did those for sure, yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. Could not get enough of it. Like, just that fact that you would bake it for a little bit and you had this beautiful glossy figurine to take home. I would love to look in the basements of Boomers and how many plaster fun craft or color me mine things that they probably have stored down there. I had a ton and I loved it and it was really simple. I also really miss the low budget. I think you see in birthdays now for kids, it's like some elaborate experience with like balloon arches and all these things. I included a picture for Matt, and it's just me sitting at a table with some pictures of Coke. I'm wearing a little princess crown. My babysitter's in the background with her 90s floral romper. Had to throw that in there. And some simple party hats, and I'm sure there was pizza involved, and that pretty much was it. There was one experience I couldn't for the life of me remember the name of this place. I asked my mom, but she couldn't remember either. And it was literally just a few picnic tables, pizza, all the things I just mentioned, and then the lights would go off, and they'd put all these disco balls and strobe lights. I remember very vividly, I can still see my arms in the air dancing to YMCA, and it was the
Aw.
best day ever, and I don't know, it gave me a lot of confidence. I'm not really someone who's dancing up on a table or anything like that, but I remember they lifted me up and got me on some, like, stand or something. I was just like,
Jillian,
"This is
Jillian.
the life. YMCA. Woo, we're getting crazy," and that was so fun. You don't see birthday parties like that anymore.
First of all, on the topic of kid birthday spots, for whatever reason, like, very few people that I was friends with went with the big name, like Chuck E. Cheese. We all went with the budget version of that in town that was,
Mhm.
like, more independent called Jungle Gyms.
Oh,
that
I
was
think
near
that
us, and
sounds
so
yeah.
I remember playing the Simpsons arcade game ad nauseum whenever I would go to birthday parties at that place. I would go into those plastic tubes that you'd crawl in through, that big network of plastic tubes,
Yeah.
and I would just find, like, one with a window and then just sit and watch.
Well, that's a theme with you. Apparently, you're keeping watch over
Yeah,
sleepovers.
exactly, and, okay, no, hold on. That was just me not going down in time. We were all awake.
I'm teasing.
But the plaster fun craft, I completely forgot about all of the crap that I'm sure is just in a landfill at this point. I remember painting a seal that I had at one of those plaster parties, this most insane reflective silver that probably was giving me cancer as I
Yeah,
was
10
touching it.
different toxins.
What happened to that seal? I have to know.
Yeah, it's your new Beanie Baby. You gotta find them, collect them.
It's probably gone, but I'll always have the memory of painting that seal.
I think it's also so sweet how you found your little nook at the jungle gym. You're unlocking a memory for me where I love those tubes, but I remember one time I went in it and for whatever reason, I just had like a big moment of anxiety and I could not come down. And I remember looking through the window and I was so sad. But I remember my dad's face of like total disappointment where he's just, oh my God, because the crowd had developed.
So, how did that start? Was he calling for you and then you were like, "I'm not going."
No, I just
Was there
couldn't.
like a slide you didn't wanna go down, or
I
what was the exit
I
strategy?
think that was part of it where I just like, "Whoa, I'm in the tube, I'm high," or something. I always loved going in those tubes. I don't know what sparked it, but I literally have a memory through that foggy little glass with all the fingerprints and scrapes, and just seeing my dad's face like, "Oh my god, my kid's the one who's not going."
I'd always get so annoyed when you would have a tube to yourself, it was a quiet moment, and then you'd hear the
Yep, yep,
through
yes.
the, "Oh, here they come, great."
Yep.
I have nothing to say to this kid that's coming through. Put out even as a child.
So many core memories unlocked.
You remember me too, laser tag was such a huge birthday
Mhm.
event for our generation. Did you go to laser tag parties?
I think I went to 1 or 2.
Maybe this is a boy thing more.
Yeah, I think so. And we did our fair share of sleepovers too, but I don't know if this happened at yours. A lot of kids would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, "Mr. So and so, can you call my mom? I want to go home."
That never happened,
Oh, happened at girls' sleepers all the time.
but the boys stuck it out. I mean,
Yeah.
we barely slept. We were up most of the night playing video games. There was a lot of golden eye happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I would always be the soldier who stayed. I was happy to just be quiet in my sleeping bag and whatever. All right. Now that we went down memory lane, what is your coziest birthday as an adult?
One that I really loved and felt very touched by, and I will preface this by saying, like I said, that I get overwhelmed by the attention. That is 10 times magnified when the birthday event is a surprise birthday. And my husband has done this to me a couple of times. But the love in the room and the, oh my goodness, you're all here, like all these different friends from different parts of my life in one place. It's all focused on me. It's so overwhelming. I think I cried at both of the ones that this has happened at, or I got near tears because it's
Mhm.
just so overwhelming. But it is very cozy, and most recently, it was at Jillian, you were there.
Mhm.
It was like a little picnic at a park near my apartment, and it was just a very laid back thing. We just had some snacks out in the park on some picnic blankets and talked. That was it, but that was one of my favorite birthdays ever because I had all these people that I loved, and we got to hang out.
Yeah, that was a really low key, nice vibes, as the kids say. I agree. I think it's nice to know when people go out of their way to show up and take part in that surprise. And I know some people don't really love surprise birthdays. I think they're fun because, like you said, folks you didn't expect or all this effort put in that you didn't know was going on behind the scenes.
Mhm.
That's really cozy, like you said. So I think that's a great example. And I remember that day too. It was really nice weather. It's a good day. For me, I just like to travel, whether it's a small trip or a longer trip. One of my favorites was going to Sedona and just being in the fresh air, taking some walks with the backdrop of the red rocks. So even some place close like Arizona, which is a hop and a skip from us, I'm just the happiest I can be when I'm going somewhere, different scenery, and it makes it a little bit more special going out of state. But you can also do a staycation, and we've done that many times. And anytime where I'm moving on wheels or flying in the air, it's a happy birthday for me. What about celebrating a cozy birthday for someone else?
On the topic of travel, when my friend turned 40 recently, he rented a house in Palm Springs, and it was a really just nice, chill getaway weekend, similar to what you were saying. It changes the context, and again, was a nice time for us to celebrate him, but also as a friend group, make memories together in a new place. And that's a thing that I feel like the older that we get, it's getting rarer and rarer to make new memories with old friends. And so I think those opportunities are very special.
Yeah, the perfect opportunity to do something like that. One of my best memories for celebrating someone else is my dad's 60th when he was living in North Carolina. And so I visited him and he just thought I was visiting him for his birthday. But also on the topic of surprises, my mom, sisters, his mom, who has since passed, and my grandpa all came and surprised him. And that was really sweet because my family brought our dog at the time, Charlie. And when we got back from an outing, my dad I had to get to take him out of the house. Charlie ran down the stairs, and my dad was so confused, but so happy to see Charlie. And so, although Charlie ruined the surprise, it was like a really cute way of that happening. And it's just a really great memory. And I think when you get the chance to do that, especially for parents, if you have the opportunity and the means and the time, it's great because you don't know how many times you get to do that. So it's special to mark those milestones when you can.
Absolutely.
Last question. Must do's, favorite traditions on your birthday. And we did touch on this a little bit, but anything that we might have missed?
I was thinking through what do I need to have? And if I don't have it, I feel incomplete that the day has passed and I didn't do this thing. And it is the cake. It doesn't have to be a cake, it can be any kind of sweet with a candle in it. These days, I prefer the simple, just put one little candle in a cupcake. I'd be fine. I don't care. But it needs to be something like that, a sweet and a candle that I can blow out. The candle blowing out ceremony, I've realized, is an integral part of my birthday celebration that just has to happen at some point.
Yeah, any sweet treat will do. That indulgence you were talking about, whether it's cupcake, cookie, anything like that. I'm with you.
Yeah, I need to make my birthday wish.
Oh, yeah,
It's just a
absolutely.
moment of meditation I have to do.
I like how you said it's a moment of meditation. I think that's
Yeah.
really important. When you're kids, you're just like, I wish for this. I want this mega whatever. No. But when you're older, it becomes a lot more
Yeah.
special and reflective.
What are your traditions that you can't do without?
I also need a sweet treat, and when I'm at home, if I am in New York for my birthday, I'll try and recreate what I had throughout my childhood, which was the strawberry box cake, pick it up at the grocery store, it's the pink cake, and then pink frosting. I don't even like pink per se, I don't know how that got started, but I think I just like the way it looked. The strawberry taste is fun and festive and bright, and a little bit more refreshing. I really don't like chocolate cakes or anything like that. And my mom would always do these elaborate decorations. So one year she printed out photos of Keith Morrison and put like little handcuffs on the cake and all these different things.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that cake, it was really cute.
Yeah. So she did all of these little scenes, which I think is really fun and makes it special. And then sushi, because deep down I'm a basic queen. So sushi and pink on pink cake. It's not that elaborate or special, but to me, it's just I have to have sushi on my birthday. I also get my solar return report every year. I order it a few weeks before my birthday, and that's like a little report that tells you where the planets are and when they're interacting with. And Matt's gonna be like, I'm insane. Tells you your transits and, like, what themes you could expect for the year, like, what'll be the emphasis, will be on career, will be at home.
You're getting ready for your year.
I'm doing my witching.
Yeah, it's a key part of your preparation, I get it.
Yeah.
So lots of pink sushi, pink cakes, and the solar report for Gillian.
Yeah.
She's probably reading her report as we speak on her birthday. Obviously, we're recording this a little bit in advance, so she has the time on her birthday to
I already have it.
sure, there you go. Is it looking good this year? Or do you not open it until your birthday?
No, it's a mixed bag this year. We'll see what comes to pass. But to be ominous,
Buckle up.
buckle up.
The birthday cake conversation is making me think of all of the childhood birthday cakes that I had that were so lovingly decorated. Like, I would always get these a lot of them were just, like, grocery store birthday cakes, but they had, like, a popular kid thing at the time theme, like Batman or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cakes, but they were always so exciting to see. I think my favorite I remember getting was, like, a Lion King cake because
Aw.
I was obsessed with the Lion King. And I always loved when my mom would make that special by making sure the birthday cake had a theme.
Shout out to all the parents out there who go out of their way to make the birthday cake special. That's so sweet of your mom. Imagine how busy you are as a parent when you have little kids. My mom was making those
Right.
cakes as an adult when I was an adult. She was always an adult in my life. But yeah, all the parents out there, I tip my hat.
Look at the consequences, now I have to have cake on my birthday.
Create a monster.
You're developing habits and rituals. Jillian, we have a couple more gifts to unwrap on your birthday, and those are our words of warmth. Jillian, you gave yourself a gift of a special birthday themed quote today. What is that quote?
Let us celebrate the occasion with wine and sweet words by Plautus. And I researched the name before, so I'm
Can
99.9%. I listened to
you
it.
tell us a little bit about Plautus?
He was a Roman. He wrote comedies. I'm not getting him to the Greek.
The name reminds me of platypus. Plautus the platypus is the character in my head who said this quote.
I just think it's so simple and sweet, and it really does resonate with me because wine's in it and sweet words. That's all you need, kindness and some wine. And if you don't
Yeah.
drink wine, maybe some tea with aptogens in it. What are your words of warmth?
So my quote is by English poet Robert Browning from his poem Rabbi Ben Ezra. And this excerpt says, "Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be, the last of life, for which the first was made. Our times are in his hand, who saith, a whole I planned, youth shows but half."
That's one to really mull over.
As I age, it's bittersweet because you leave behind your youth and you feel the sands of time ticking through the hourglass. But there's also so much to look ahead to. And even just the gift of getting to grow old and have more memories and experiences every year is a gift. I like that this poem really celebrates aging and reminds us that great things are yet to be.
And what I like about this quote, it's a reminder that we're all together in it. No one ages alone. It's nice to remember that.
Remind those Gen Alphas, why don't you? Remind those Gen Zers with their brat dances.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a brat dance for my birthday.
She's splitting it down symmetrical lines.
Yeah, the birds or whatever they do. I don't know. I'll try the tick. Maybe that's our next thing I'm gonna force you to do.
It's over, Julianne. You're not going to see an All Things Cozy Charlie XCX dance. Sorry, listeners, not happening. We'll jump on another trend that we can be timely on. I
Mhm.
don't want to be like the caboose on that.
Really sad. We already mashed each other's freak, and that was definitely late,
Yeah, that
but
was that was freaky enough for both of us, I think. One other order of business, we also need to blow out our candle on our birthday cake. And of course, it's a scented candle, and two of them, in fact, for our candle review this week.
and Matt got this gift for me, and I literally
Can you say that
shrieked.
like I have a gun to your head or something? He got this gift for me and he's making me talk about
Yeah.
it. I'll set this context since we're pulling teeth. At the Warner Brothers tour, I got the single tea bag from that we talked about on 2 episodes ago. We were in the gift shop afterwards, and Warner Brothers produces Gilmore Girls, which Jillian loves.
Mhm.
And Jillian watched my plans for me while I was away, and as a token of my appreciation, I wanted to gift her a Gilmore Girls scented candle. And then also because I give a gift for thee, and so I get a gift for me. I also got a Gilmore Girls candle, but it was a different Gilmore Girls candle. So let's start with yours, Jillian. Your candle was called Stars Hollow.
Yeah, and I'm not kidding when I said that I shrieked when I pulled this out of the bag. Literally just so excited and thrilled, and this is too red for my blood, it's so kind. This is a wonderful candle because it lasts really long and has a wonderful scent. The scent is bayberry. It's like the berry is in the name, and it does smell like a nice assortment of berries and a little woodsy. Great aroma, but not too overpowering. And I've been burning it almost every day since he got it for me, and I believe we met up at the beginning of August, and it's still kicking. So this is a wick up for me.
That's amazing. What does bayberry smell like?
I had to Google it. And that's pretty much what, I described it. But I also found a little trivia that apparently if you light a brand new bayberry candle on Christmas or Christmas Eve, it's supposed to bring you a year of luck.
Ooh, okay.
But I burned it
That's
too early.
exciting. You can keep it around and then burn it again. Does it have to be a new one?
I think so. Anyway, I don't know what bayberry has to do with Stars Hollow. That's not necessarily the scent that it was associated with.
What would you have made the scent if you were the candle designer?
Definitely something fall scented. A nice maple mix of coffee, maybe like a fresh air kind of scent, like
Well,
crisp.
well, that is the candle that I'm burning.
Oh,
I should have given you this one. I thought that one sounded nicer.
oh yeah, I know Stars Hollow. I love it. This is perfect for me, so I'm not
This one is
complaining.
the Luke's scented candle, Luke's Diner in Gilmore Girls, the TV show. and it's coffee and vanilla flavored. To be honest, as basic as it comes in terms of if you're doing a candle about a coffee shop, it's exactly what you think it smells like. I wasn't necessarily expecting the vanilla, but it's a nice compliment. It's very palatable, very pleasant, and the coffee is more of an accent with the vanilla as the star, as vanilla can sometimes take over the scent profile of a candle. But like you said, Jillian, these candles are really large, and I have a confession to make. They were on sale, which is why I
Oh,
got them. So these candles normally retailed for $42, but I bought them for $9.99.
thank God.
These are large candles, and to get them for 10 bucks at a Warner Brothers gift store, I didn't even know they ever put anything on sale at those sorts of places, so you better believe I snatched them up, and I tried looking for them online, and I'm sorry,
Same.
listeners, they don't exist. I think what I suspect is that the candle era of the WB studio tour, it's over, and they are just trying to get rid of them, and they're not dabbling in candles anymore. Maybe they just were not moving because they were charging $42 for them is what I would guess. And so this might just be like an end of whatever stock they had, but you can find plenty of dupes and other Gilmore Girls themed candles online, and it's worth exploring. It's a cozy space for sure.
Yeah, I need to run over there and snag some candles then.
Yeah, well, you can
Ugh.
get your new Bayberry candle. Go to Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank and walk in, go past the security guard, say, "I'm not here for a tour. I just want to buy one of the sale
Right.
candles."
Just it's special knowing it came from the lot, so to speak. That's exciting. So, yeah, truly a wonderful gift, and that reminds me that sometimes the best birthday gifts are those little things that you don't expect or necessarily need, but it's a nice, wonderful surprise, and it made me so happy. So, thank you for this gift.
You're welcome, and it's not your birthday gift, it was just a plant sitting gift. I
Yes.
I feel weird now being like, "Oh, yeah, I'm making Julian talk about her birthday and her birthday, first of all, and then second of all, I'm making her talk about her birthday gift." That's not happening.
Oh, no, no.
Stop perpetuating this narrative, listeners. I know what you're up to.
Oh, and I did babysit those plant babies for free. It was a pleasure.
Hope they didn't talk back.
They're probably well behaved.
This cozy birthday party is winding down, but before we blow out the candles, we have a few shout outs. We want to, first of all, thank our new patrons, Jen and James. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon and supporting our show. We really appreciate all of the support that our listeners give our show. It keeps us rolling in adaptogenic tea that we so we can talk about it, and we hope it brings a little coziness to your life as a result. You can join Jen and James in supporting our show by joining our Patreon and therefore also joining our book club. And maybe even if you're at the pillar level, getting an exclusive All Things Cozy mug, a spring theme that's only available for this year only. And you can do that at patreon.com/all things cozy.
And thank you to Shwenny Girl for this lovely review. This podcast feels like a warm hug to me. It's so comforting and always leaves me with a feeling of peace and calm. It's helped me find the cozy in every day. I love the variety of topics discussed and especially value the book and music recommendations. Give it a listen and you'll be hooked. Thank you so much. It's really sweet and we love all reviews. It's one of the most exciting parts of my day to see, did we get a new review? And when I do see one, it's really wonderful and makes my day and our
Oh,
day
a
a little
1,000%,
brighter.
yeah, and I've said this before and a million times, I keep saying it again, it helps people find our show, like, it helps the powers that be. We're independent, small, we don't have any advertisements, which is why the Patreon is so important, it's why the reviews are so important, because we really want this experience for you to be seamless, to be ad-free,
Mhm.
and we'd much rather make something that you are all happy with and don't have to be inundated with those sorts of, like, annoying volume changes when an ad comes on and things that really make listening to podcasts miserable, and that's possible because of everyone who supports our show either through joining our Patreon or just leaving a review. Any little bit helps, and we do appreciate it so much. We would not have a show without your support.
Here, here.
You can also follow what we're up to at our social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at All Things Cozy Podcast. Jillian right now is having a rager of a party for her birthday. She can't wait for your birthday messages. If you're listening to this on Sunday, spam the Instagram. Let Jillian know that you care. Happy birthday,
Sweet.
Jillian.
Thank you.
We'll be back in your ears in a couple more weeks with a brand new episode. Until next time,
Stay
stay cozy.
cozy.